Hi guys, and welcome back to today's video. So for today's video, guess who's with me? Baby. I decided to do a how to stay productive while working at home or doing schoolwork at home. And I feel like I am pretty educated on this topic because a lot of the classes that I did take in college were online, so I spent a lot of time at home doing schoolwork, and then also I was a photographer, so I spent a lot of time editing and taking care of photos on the digital platform, making sure that I don't leave it until the last minute or that I don't forget about clients' photos. Let's get started. I have 8 tips that I want to bring for you guys, and hopefully one of the tips works out for you. Okay, tip number 1. Is to have a clean space. So if you like to work in your bedroom or in the living room or in the kitchen or wherever, make sure that your space around you is clean and tidy, fresh. You don't want to work in a very cluttered atmosphere because then you're going to be distracted by, oh my gosh, why is the tape here? Oh my gosh, I have food wrapper here. Oh my gosh, why do I have my history textbooks out when I'm doing financial accounting? Making sure that you have a clean environment will help you stay focused to only work on the assignment that's in front of you, and for you to be able to make sure that you can finish efficiently because you're not thinking about everything else that's around you if you were to be kept in a clean area. Tip number 2 is to make sure that you have adequate amount of light. And what I mean by this is that if you're working during the daytime, make sure you have some fresh light coming in. You don't want to be stuck under your lamps. Making sure you have some fresh vitamin D soaking into your skin because you see how bright everything is outside and you see people walking, or you can hear them talking if you choose to have your window open. Just having some more natural air and natural light will bring in a better mood. Or if you're someone who prefers to work at night, make sure that your lamps or your light bulbs or whatever you use for artificial lighting is very bright. That way you can feel energized by the light hitting on your work, or it's just a calming sensation. And don't work in the dark, kids. That ruin your eyesight when you're older. Tip number 3 is to make sure that you keep your distractions away from you. I know that I'm the type of person where I get notifications. For a time being, I had a habit of always responding back instantly. What I ended up doing was making sure that I kept my phone on silence and that I had it away from me. So I would work in my living room, then I'd keep my phone in the kitchen. If I was working in the kitchen, I'd keep my phone in the living room. I would just try to keep all distractions away, to making sure that I had the most efficient time to do my schoolwork, to do my photography, or whatever else I was doing. And when I would be working on my laptop or on my desktop, I always made sure that I wasn't on YouTube, I wasn't listening to any music. I'm the type of person that when I study or do work, I like complete silence. I'm not someone who does well with external noises, so you would probably never find me doing work with music because it's a little distracting for me. So even that, I tried to make sure that I didn't have any of those tabs open, and that if I was watching a YouTube video for either schoolwork or to try and perfect an editing technique or to learn some posing techniques, I made sure that I would watch a video, and then if I had another idea, I would just stay watching until I run out of ideas. That way I don't
work, oh, idea, work, idea.
That way I would just watch all my videos, call it done. And if I did have a new idea that I wanted to look up, then I would just wait until I would work for at least 30 minutes or an hour. Unless it was for school, then I would right away watch a tutorial because it's schoolwork. I have to know what I'm doing. If it was for photography, then I would give myself some time in between if I were to have another idea pop up in my head. So I 100% believe in a distraction-free zone. If you are someone who likes to listen to music, if it is something attached to your phone, one of those earplugs, then possibly have all your notifications turned off. That way nothing's popping up and you would feel the urge to respond back to people. If you end up not seeing those notifications, and you won't feel the urge to respond back because you wouldn't know that they're there. For tip number 4, I highly recommend to stay hydrated. And what I mean by staying hydrated is making sure that you're drinking water. I know that if you are starting to feel a little bit tired, then chug some water. That will help you feel hydrated and replenish. And also it can help just keep you on task. If you have your little water bottle, just take a couple sippy sips and then go on with your work. That way you don't have to leave your desk or anything, and you're still getting the adequate 2 liters of water you need a day if you're drinking 2 liters. Or if you're not drinking that much, at least you're still drinking water and you're not studying for 3 or 4 hours straight and realize,
I'm not gonna drink any water today.
so that way you can be on top of your hydration and you can stay focused because you are fully hydrated. Tip number 5 is to possibly stretch or move around. I know when I was doing schoolwork, every hour and a half or so, I would get up, do a little stretching, move around a little bit. That way I can stop whatever I was doing and then come back to it. Sometimes I really needed that if I was stuck and I didn't know how to keep progressing on that certain problem. I would walk around, do some stretching, try to get distracted for a minute, and then come back and try to attack that problem again. And I would usually be able to figure out what I was doing wrong. So I would highly recommend that you guys take a minute to walk around, take a minute to stretch, loosen those muscles, get that blood flowing again, take a couple deep breaths, and then go back to your work, because sometimes that will help the creative juices start to come out, or maybe it will help you look at a problem a different way, and that way you're just not stuck sitting on a chair or on your couch or on your bed the whole time, because that will cause back pain or hip problems, or shoulders will start coming to your ears, and you won't have that relaxing flow, which I understand. We're doing homework, we're doing schoolwork, it's not that relaxing to begin with, but having those adequate amount of breaks, you will be able to notice yourself at least get a little bit more mindful to what you're doing, and you're not just cramming all that work that you have to get done. So take a minute and just breathe, because it'll be okay, and we all need those moments of just taking a deep breath. Tip number 6 is to make a time frame. That's something that I would do when I was in school, is I would have a certain amount of hours blocked off for my classes, because when I was in school I was taking 5 or 6 classes at a time, so I was a very hardcore student, and I always had to make sure that I didn't forget a class, or I didn't study for one class for 4 hours and then only give another class an hour. I wanted to make sure each class had an equal amount of time studying and preparing and doing homework for. So what I highly recommend is maybe block out some time for you to do this class, or block out a time, okay, if I'm doing work for my job, I'll do this and then I'll do that. That way you have time for everything and you don't feel rushed or crammed or forgetful if you realize,
Oh my gosh, I didn't do this, or oh my gosh, I need to still do this.
That way you know that you can fit it in that 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour period blocks that you've set for yourself. And plus also, I like to think of it as, if I were to set up my school day or work day from 10 to 6, I would know that I have to get stuff done before 6. Otherwise, I'd feel like I didn't complete anything for that day. So that way it brings out a motivation for you to get done by 6 or get done at 6. And that way, if you go to bed at 11, from 6 to 11, you'd have some free time for yourself. So I find it as a good way of motivation, knowing that you have to get this done in those certain amount of hours. Tip number 7 is to make a plan. Make a weekly plan and a daily plan for what you have to get done. That's something I did as well when I was in school, is I would write down everything I have to get done for the week, and then Monday through Friday I would write down everything I wanted to get done for that day. That way by the time I end up at Friday, I'd usually have the least amount of things to do, because I'd have majority of it completed prior. It would just show me what I have to get done, and so I can stay accountable for it, because if I don't cross that thing off, it's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. And then when I go to bed, it's going to be in my head, and then when I wake up, I know, oh my gosh, I have to get this done, and I can't start on Tuesday's work if I didn't finish Monday's work. So I highly recommend writing down what your days are going to be filled with. That way you can feel accountable, and that way you see yourself doing something and you see, oh my gosh, okay, I did do something today. Because if you didn't write that down and you're going to bed that Thursday night and you're thinking, oh my god, what did I do today? And you think, oh, I didn't do anything, and then you get sad because you felt like, oh, I just wasted a day. But if you wrote everything down, you can see, oh, okay, I read chapters 1 through 3 for history. Okay, I did my DB for art history. Okay, I turned in my accounting project. Okay, now you start feeling a little bit accomplished because you did something. So I highly recommend to make a weekly and daily plan, and then also cutting those sections into hours, from tip number 6 to making sure that you are staying accountable and that you're working in the most efficient time frame for yourself. My last and final tip, for tip number 8, is that it's all about mindset. I am a firm believer that the mindset and the perception that you choose on how to perceive things will heavily affect your outcome. So if you are choosing to have that mindset that you know you need to get this done, you need to work hard, you need that good grade, you are going to find yourself feeling motivated because you feel accountable for what you have to do. If you're coming into your work day saying,
whatever, I don't really care about accounting, I don't really care about how much revenue I'm making, when this is just a bunch of whatever because I'm not even going to pursue accounting.
No, we're not going to have that type of mindset, because that's just going to make you go downhill, and then you're going to have a negative perspective throughout your whole entire day. You don't realize that one negative thought can actually take on that whole entire day, and the rest of your day will be filled with negative energy because you allowed your day to begin with negative energy. So that's one thing that I highly recommend, is that starting your day off positively, starting your day off knowing that you're blessed to have the opportunity to work from home, to do schoolwork from home, and that you are accountable for your goals and you're accountable for your grades and your homework and your learning. That's something I did touch on in my overachieving student video and my tips for a lazy student video, which I'll put both of those links down below, is that I really go into mindset. And that is something how I was able to go through when I was taking 5 or 6 classes, going to school 6 out of 7 days a week, is knowing that I was given the opportunity to have an education. I was given the opportunity to try out these extra classes that I didn't have to be taking. And that is one way I feel like I succeed, is because I always came in with a positive outlook, or with a mindful outlook on that this is what I need to do if I want to see myself succeed, if I want to bring out new experiences for myself. So I would take that same type of perception into the situation right now. So thank you guys all for watching today's video. I hope one of the tips are helpful for you. If these are the tips that I used for when I was going to school and when I was doing my photography job, and it helped keep me pretty accountable, and I was able to get a lot of things done within my day because I had them planned out and I had time frames, and I was feeling motivated and relaxed and replenished with water, and I kept my space clean and all that fun jazz. And I wish you guys all the best. Stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.